crush though, because the colors are weird. Unfortunately, that's the one downside. But then I go to bed and I go right to sleep because I have natural melatonin production going on.
I have a lens on my glasses. It's purple.
Oh.
It's supposed to help with computer screens and all that jazz. Which it turns like the bright whites to like a off-white.
Okay.
Like the glasses you wear every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, okay.
So it just looks like I'm just some sort of hipster with purple lenses. It's real bad in pictures.
Oh. Well, it depends on whether or not you have a problem with being thought of as a hipster.
I don't.
Exactly, because you're wearing French boots. I am a child of the 60s. This is a hippie.
I'm not classified to one thing.
There we go, okay. A Renaissance woman. Okay. All right, circadian rhythm means that all of our stuff goes up and down over the course of the day. By stuff, I mean hormones, temperatures, etc., rise and fall. Different ones occur at different times, like here's cortisol. Notice that cortisol rises before you get up. And then this is the problem. There isn't enough cortisol to handle getting up next Sunday and Monday. All right, the limbic system, this is the seat of emotion. This involves predominantly the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for fear, anger, sex drive, all of those strong emotions and drives. And then we have the hypothalamus is mediating it as well. Plus, components of the prefrontal cortex. Notice we've got our olfactory tract, determine whether or not to detect fear. So the amygdala is going to be our primary originator of emotion. Memory, two different kinds, long-term. Well, we have long-term and short-term, and two kinds of long-term, all right? We have non-declarative, tying your shoes. You know how to tie your shoes once you learned. And then declarative is what you had for breakfast this morning. And then this comes from your book, exactly which parts of the brain are handling which kind of memories and how long they last. In our working memory, it is no wonder why phone numbers and the social security number are broken into 3s and 4s. Because we can hold little groups of 3s and 4s in our brain long enough to dial a number, for example. So that's why they're divided up that way. We do have the ability to grow new neurons in the part of the brain called the hippocampus. The new neurons, of course, are occurring up to the age of 18 months throughout the brain. But we do still have stem cells in our hippocampus that lets us grow new neurons when we need to learn new stuff. As is what's going on right now. Learning new stuff, you're growing new neurons. Notice that stress or depression about your grades impede learning and cause the hippocampus to shrink, which causes more problems with learning, therefore more stress and depression, which causes more shrink. Okay.
Would that involve why one would not be able to concentrate on things when they're like that?
Yes. So, hippocampus, new memories, amygdala for fear memories. We store it in the cerebral hemispheres. And of course, that processing and planning because of experience before you leap, prefrontal cortex. And then this is just showing long-term potentiation. I talked about this with last chapter, that you are actually increasing the number of receptors so that you can do faster synapses because of the process of learning. You're putting in more receptors in those neurons. The dendritic spines, the dendrites can grow these little extra processes for increased synaptic connections. Again, when needed for learning. And then I got this from another source, just talking about we get all this information, we store it temporarily, becomes short-term memory unless we work at having to repeat it, rehearse it, to be able to put it into long-term memory. Questions? All right, now behavioral states and moods. There are 4, notice. They're based on specific neurotransmitters, which is why we had to know those neurotransmitters coming out of chapter 7. This one's from another book showing which neurotransmitter pathway, where those neurons originate, and what exactly they are managing. All right, what's that reticular activating system? Which one of those is correct? Oh, guess for me, Jessica. Just throw out an answer.
If it's not D, it's a C.
If it's not C,
Is it A?
What?
Is it C? Is it D? Is it E? D. It's all three. So it is an arrangement of neurons located in the brain stem and midbrain, and they wake you up. All right, sleep is essential for homeostasis. Which of the following reasons do we sleep? E, yep, all three, plus more. All right, we talked about EEGs, EEG during seizure. No one's giving a presentation on Alzheimer's. What is Alzheimer's? Unfortunately, it's a collection of two different kinds of proteins, tau proteins and tangles. The tau proteins actually kill the neurons. The tangles, notice that they're impeding synaptic connections. And therefore the brain shrinks because neurons are being destroyed as a result. And notice that the hippocampus shrinks, which is why there is no new memories being laid down. You likely have a loved one who is developing or did develop Alzheimer's. I had an aunt. So my aunt, last time before she had to go into the nursing home, when she was still living alone, although she really shouldn't, we found out later, she sat outside that day and told me all about her childhood. She was in her 70s. She told me detailed stuff that went on when she was 8, 9, 10 years old, including what she was wearing, you know, just on and on. But she could not remember that I had brought food for tonight's dinner because she kept just saying over and over and over, well, I think there might be some peanut butter under the cabinet. And I kept saying, Aunt Sybil, don't you remember I brought these groceries? Oh, that's right, yeah, you did. And then, you know, 10 minutes later, well, do you want to have some dinner? I think we've got some peanut butter under the cabinet. Because no new memories could be produced.